Welcome back to the Mountain Medical YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out. Today, we're talking about shark attacks.
A large section of flesh is missing from the woman's upper thigh, which sources say was found on the shoreline.
All right, guys, before we get into this video, do me a huge favor. Go down below, hit that like and subscribe button. That's a free way to support me here at the channel. So if you enjoy the content and you learned something today, that's a free way to support me. And don't forget, head over to mountainmanmedical.com and check out our Yellowstone and Wind River trauma kits. A 65-year-old woman was rushed to the ER by New York City Fire Medics after being bitten by a shark at Rockaway Beach. At around 5:50 p.m. on August 7th, the victim was swimming near Beach 59th Street when she was bitten in her left leg by a shark. Chief lifeguard Jose Diaz told the New York Post the victim was treading water and relaxing just offshore when the attack occurred. Diaz said his lifeguards sprang into action. "We saw that she was bitten. Blood was coming out a lot, and so they gave her a tourniquet with a buoy, which has a rope, and they tied it so that she doesn't bleed to death. She lost a lot of blood," he reported. "The artery came right out. You could see the bones and everything. It was crazy," he said. The shark tore loose an estimated 20 pounds of flesh from her upper thigh before swimming away. According to one report, that chunk of flesh was later discovered washed up on shore, the shark apparently finding the Queens resident unappetizing.
A large section of flesh is missing from the woman's upper thigh, which sources say was found on the shoreline.
Lifeguards leapt to her rescue and drug her to shore, where an improvised tourniquet made from a rescue buoy rope was used to control the bleeding until EMS could arrive with a much improved tourniquet, the Soft T from TacMed Solutions. Another New York City Parks employee, Shananka Thomas, who had heard the victim screaming just after being bitten, reported that the woman had signs of going into shock as rescuers worked to save her.
The 65-year-old woman bitten by a shark can be seen here being treated after lifeguards used a buoy rope as a tourniquet on her leg.
It was me and my co-workers on the beach cleaning the beach. I seen a lady in distress in the water. She was just moving around, flapping her hands. Like, we just seen like a lot of water, just like a lot of movement in the water.
This Parks employee says she waved over lifeguards.
But she was in shock. She wasn't responding or whatever. So they laid her down and, they was talking to her or whatever, but she still, was kind of out of it.
The 68-year-old chief lifeguard Diaz told NewYorkPost.com he had never seen anything like the shark attack in all of his 53 years of serving the New York City beachgoers. Diaz said, "We go swimming like every other day. We go swimming with the lifeguards and we see the sharks, but they don't really do anything to us. This is the first time that this has happened. It's weird. Everybody's afraid to go into the water now, and I don't blame them," said the chief, who had only just come out of retirement amid a crisis of lifeguard shortages. The victim was swiftly taken away by ambulance to Jamaica Hospital, where she was listed in serious but stable condition and expected to recover. Because of the windy day, the water was murky and authorities were unable to locate the offending shark. Some experts believe this may have been the reason for the attack, which might have been from either a bull or perhaps a thresher shark, giving the wounding pattern of the teeth. Went on to explain that the shark may have encountered the victim in the low visibility water and gave her an exploratory bite to find out whether she was good to eat. The answer seems to have been no.
New York State Park officials sending out jet skis and drones to scan for sharks along all 4 beaches. Experts say the water conditions this time of year are favorable for the predators.
The water is warm enough and there's plenty of food here to support large sharks moving into our area and feeding on the animals that are here.
What I think is happening is they're swimming to a school of fish, trying to take them out. And at that moment, if we blunder into that situation, we're getting caught in the crossfire.
Although the shark attacks were incredibly rare, the danger in the area and the police drones were unable to track the location of the shark due to the murky water conditions, so the beach was closed to swimmers. Despite the rare occurrence of shark attacks on the New York coastline, aggressive encounters are up significantly across the area. 5 this year, with 3 of them happening east of Long Island on July 4th. According to the International Shark Attack File latest report in 2021, the number of deaths was slightly above normal, reaching 11 shark fatalities, 9 of them classified as unprovoked. This is the first shark attack in the area since 1953, when a teenage boy hooked a shark and was bitten on the hand when he grabbed its tail. And before that, the last known attack was in 1909, making this only the 3rd attack in the last 114 years.
Florida also seeing multiple encounters. Beachgoers fleeing as a shark barreled toward shore at Perdido Key Beach in Florida on Sunday. And swimmers scrambling as this shark moved in at Navarre Beach on Monday.
So some parting thoughts on that for me are going to be, why don't the lifeguards have tourniquets? Now, obviously, they probably don't get that many crazy bleeding problems that occur out there. There aren't a lot of shark attacks, like you already heard. This is a very rare encounter. So they might not be set up for bleeding control, but I think they should be. If they're lifeguards, they should have the skills and the required gear to save somebody's life, of course. So thank God that they were able to hop on that casualty and get her bleeding controlled with that buoy rope. Now, an improvised tourniquet is better than nothing. It might slow the bleeding down long enough so that somebody can get there with a good tourniquet like they had with that soft T. So make sure that you know how to make a good tourniquet. But on top of that, it takes a long time to figure out how you're going to make a good tourniquet. You need a lot of materials. Wrapping a rope around the limb and using that to tourniquet the limb is not the most effective way, of course, but sometimes you just need to make things happen. If you are setting up a lifeguard trauma kit, there are a couple of things that I think you might want to take into consideration. One is what kind of tourniquet that you are going to use. The cat tourniquet from North American Rescue is an excellent tourniquet. I've used it. I know that it works, but I have heard some reports that it doesn't withstand sandy conditions quite as well. Now, I've heard that the hook and loop can become clogged with sand and will be less effective at adhering to itself. But I've never experienced that myself, but I have heard from reputable people that that is an issue. So a soft T that was used in this particular example as well might be a better option for this particular sandy environment. So if you're putting together a lifeguard trauma kit, maybe include some soft teas in there on top of your other bleeding control items so that it's a better, more well-rounded and more universal and more effective kit for you. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for hanging out and checking out this video. Do me a huge favor, hit that like and subscribe. Free way to support me. Head over to mountainmanmedical.com. Check out those Yellowstone and Wind River trauma kits. Be ready for whatever the mountain throws at you. I'll catch you guys in the next one.